It is your boy, Sports Rap CEO, in the building. And Pete, I just want to come and talk to y'all for a little bit today. I missed yesterday because, yesterday was MLK Day. Took some time off, took a minute, tried to prepare myself for the Eagles game, and we all know what happened. But we're going to get to that in just a bit. So it is Tuesday, January 16th. My guy, Big John, what's going on, good brother? It's 16th day of the year, 16 days into the new year. I hope things are going well for everyone. Hope everyone is having the year that they planned on, or the year that they expected. But as you see, I am wearing my Philadelphia Eagles hat. Wearing last time. I'm going to wear it one last time today to end the season formally after I give you some words. I know most of you have seen my post earlier. I have gotten some feedback, so appreciate everybody that's giving me some feedback on that post. If you haven't seen it, let's see, Big Jim 71 says he was disappointed last night. I thought they would fight a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely. As were a whole bunch of us with that performance last night. But yeah, I'm wearing this hat as a formal end to the season. And if you saw my post, you saw basically what I'm going to give to you in a nutshell again, just on video. So you'll have books, you'll have some reading, you have some video. Just in case some people are at work and they can't actually get to the video and hear the live video or whatever, they can read the post. But I'm going to give you that basically in a nutshell and how I feel about the way the season played out and that just close the book for me on the season, and get rid of it and do away with it as it is and look forward to the off season. So as we know, the Eagles go into Tampa Bay last night and they lay another egg. They get beat 32-9 in a wild card playoff game. And it's somewhat funny because if they had won that game, they could have had another chance to tune up even more before they would have possibly, if they had won the divisional round, possibly had to go to San Francisco. But all that's a moot point now because they're going home. Like I said in the video, and like I've said over this past funk, over the last, quarter of the season, I believe I said in the video, I'm not jumping ship. I'm not into that. I am a fan. I'm a full-fledged fan. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it when we lose. But it's my job now to bring you my interpretation of how I felt the season went. It went very, very unexpectedly. A lot of people will debate and argue and say that it was fool's gold when they went into week 12 at 10-1. At that time, I felt like watching what I was watching and seeing what I was seeing and the way that they had won some of those games, I felt like what I had been saying, that they were becoming one of those teams that win games and know how to win games, one of those good teams, okay, that find ways to win games. And that's what they did in that particular stretch. Where it got bad for me is really hard to pinpoint. I can go through in my head and looking back at the season and figure and bring up points and moments and situations and games that could have some weight into the dialogue about how the season went bad or why the season went bad. So it's tough to pick one, but all we do know is the bottom line is that it went bad and it went bad real quick. And then last night, it just seemed like finally, the bottom completely fell out last night. Of course, we are going to continue to hear the back and forth in regards to the coaching, Sirianni. Should he be fired? Should he not be fired? It actually started, going into this playoff game. It kind of sort of started going into the last game of the regular season too. But now you're at the stage where it's the off season, and I tell you, people, don't try to figure it out on your own. Don't let yourself get so consumed in it that it drives you crazy, because you'll never know truly what's going on. Like I said in the post, I said, we can all pick points of when we feel like that in our ideas and what we've seen and what we were watching, that we can say, oh, this is where it went wrong. And that very well may be true as part of the overall situation. But once again, we will never know the very decisive, true reason of why it went bad as fast as it did in the way that it did. We'll get what they give us, as far as me as a media and then as fans and reports and all of that. We'll get what they give us. But like I always say, there is a very good chance that we'll never truly know what the biggest or the most impactful figure was in that entire situation. It's very possible that we'll never know that. But we do know, like I said, the bottom line is we do know that it went bad, and it went bad quick. Again, getting back to the Nick Sirianni issue, you can argue both sides. There are people on different levels of this, fans and media and different levels of media. Some that say, there is talk that it's a possibility that it will be discussed, or it could be discussed that he could be fired. There are some that say on the other side, well, look at what he's done in the 3 years. He's been in the playoffs 3 years. He got you to a Super Bowl 1 year, came very close to winning. One of the biggest things, before I get to that point, so you can argue, so you have a leg up on both sides of the fence when the discussions will be had about the decisions that'll be made on Nick Sirianni, whether he's fired or not. But, both sides of the fence have some points that they can bring up and have, and argue their side. I felt like when I talked about it 2 weeks ago, I mentioned to people how I felt that I would go, what my thought process was. And my initial thought process was immediately you have to correct the offensive coordinator position, that coaching position. This team, and I'll say this as the cliche goes, but this team on paper was way too talented to perform the way that they performed, or to be put in situations to perform the way that they performed. Now, make sure you understand what I'm saying when I say that. I'm not taking anybody off the hook. Okay, the players did have some moment like last night, the horrible tackling, which had been going on for the past 4 or 5 weeks. So, nobody's out of the forest on this. Nobody's excused, in this matter, okay? So for that one reason there, but it's going to be, again, hard for us to tell. But again, this team, like we said, was too talented. You saw the talent level last year. And you saw the offense last year. And then you get to this year, and like I said, you start out when you're like, oh, okay, they'll get it together. Maybe they just starting out slow, this new coaching. And then it came kind of evened out a little bit, and then it just all of a sudden went bad in a hurry. And nobody could figure out. The players at times, if you look at some of these games, you go back and look at highlights, some of these games, and even some plays last night, looked like they had no clue as to what they were supposed to be doing. This is on the offensive side of the ball. I'm still there. There was no adjustments for blitz pickup. I even said it myself. You have to, when you get into a certain situation, like a situation that they were in, you have bodies that you can put in place to try and help. But you have to try it. You can't just have the bodies there and not try it. So a couple of things I said when I was talking to people was, I said, you make adjustments in your offense. You bring Rashad Penny in, although he could not really be healthy and stay on the field, but he's a bigger back. He can help out with some of the blitzes. You sometimes may have had to go with the double tight end or triple tight end set, but one or two of those tight ends had or should have been assigned to pick up blitzes or help out with blitzes. Good morning, Cuzzo, Randy Mitchell. Good morning. Oh, it's afternoon now. I'm sorry. So good afternoon, Cuzzo. What it do? So I think for lack of a better word, the talent on this offense, on the offensive unit for this team was kind of wasted, if you will. There was never any adjustment. We all know now that the NFL is basically a seek and find, copy league. Watch the tapes, you'll see what teams do. We'll try the same thing. Okay, getting back to the offense, you saw the teams were going to blitz. How did teams get past you? Even last year in some games, in some moments, but you got over it last year in some moments. But how did teams attack your pressure this year? And I think this is another reason they kind of played into everything, like the snowball effect. Teams began to do quick passes to get away from you, to alleviate that pressure, to kind of in times nullify that pressure. Okay, it's a copy league. You're seeing the teams are starting to blitz you crazy like that. It's the same thing. You start throwing little quick passes, get the ball out of Jalen's hands quicker. It's not hard. It's not difficult, I don't think. I think a lot of times, let me say what I do think is a lot of times coaches put themselves in positions and they begin to overthink things a lot. And I understand that because I do that from time to time. In certain situations in life, I have moments that I overthink things a lot. So I understand it, but like I said, the difference in me overthinking things as myself and who I am, as opposed to an NFL coach or NFL defensive coordinator, you have this information right there in front of you. Like you have to get tape on every team that plays. When teams come and play, you scout the teams, you get tape, you witness it. So where is the difficulty? Where is the degree of difficulty, if you will, if you want to call it that? Also, in that as well, you had an offense that was very predictable, very vanilla, very bland. Larry Simmons, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. Folks, y'all know where I'm at. It's not the regular time and the regular day, but I am live. Sports Rap CEO on Instagram. Sports Rap Podcast LLC is the group page on Facebook. So we live simultaneously there. I see some people chimed in. Like I said, on Instagram, I got Big Jim 71, Messakai _18, and Larry Simmons 1608. And I got Cuzzo Walt Randy Mitchell on Facebook. So appreciate you all for tuning in and hanging out with me for a few minutes this morning. So yeah, again, there was no ingenuity, no creativity. None of the nuances were brought in to the offense. Some of the, what you could call NFL basics as far as designing NFL plays were not even used. Like the Eagles hardly used any motion in that offense. And again, going back to since we can almost remember, if we're Eagles fans, predictability is a killer, and has been a big killer for this team and this franchise. The offense of this team is almost like they played a preseason offense the entire season. That's how I look at it. On the defensive side of the ball, I don't know what happened. I was always wondering, if you go back and you check videos of me, anybody that follows me, you know, I've always had the back and the support of the defense. Right now, I'm not feeling it. Again, like I said, I am an Eagles fan. I love my team, but I don't like them right now because of the showing last night. And their defense, poor tackling, miscues on offense, on defense. The first touchdown, that 19-yard touchdown, Avonte Maddox, you bump into the other player and they get the wide open, he gets a touchdown. And then everybody, and I know what people are going to say, same thing that Troy Aikman was saying about the scheme and the design, he's got to be aware of it. Yes, Avonte Maddox is playing safety now. Okay. All right. You're still a D-back, right? But in that particular play, like Troy Aikman also mentioned, You have to be aware of where you're supposed to be. You can't run into your own teammate. I'm not even going to begin to talk about the play of James Bradbury. He had one decent play the entire night. One. Where he tipped the one ball where they could have been a touchdown. After that, it was all peaches and cream. For those you don't know where I'm going with that peaches and cream, I mean it was sweet. He got worked. And he signed for a nice little piece of change. Linebackers, same story every year. I don't know. I hope at this point the people making these decisions will now understand and see that this is where you got killed all year. You need linebackers. You need linebacker play. Again, like I mentioned, a couple coaches I had in mind, aside from any situation or any news that I hear about Nick Sirianni, Leslie Frazier on the defensive coordinator side, and Frank Reich is floating around out there. A lot of people in a lot of news, of course, have gone with the media conglomerate and are looking at, maybe Bill Belichick. Belichick is interviewed for the Falcons job, I saw this morning. It is what it is. And people, I posted about the Brian Johnson getting interviews, and we all know basically what that's about. It's that Rooney Rule. I would be very, very surprised if a team in the NFL, the same NFL that the Eagles just played in, the same NFL with the team that he was the offensive coordinator of, the same NFL who had a team for the first time in history start the week going to week 12, 10-1, and not get 12 wins. Who's going to give him a head coaching job? Coach Lowell Rich, thanks for tuning in this morning. Who's going to take the risk of a multi-billion dollar franchise and put that in his hands after you've seen what he did with the talent that he had? And then the Carolina Panthers, they don't have any talent really at all. But you saw what he did here. Why? Stan Groovy Laws, good brother, blessings to you, good morning. Why would anyone in the same NFL that just watched everything that we all watched all season long, why would you entrust him to be the head coach of your organization? He couldn't really handle being a basic offensive coordinator. And I say basic because the offense was extremely basic. Like I said, there was no ingenuity, no nuances of the NFL. Like I said, hell, it was in not even some of the basics of, like, again, I said the Eagles used hardly any motion in any plays. The Eagles had you on a roller coaster ride all season long. We can go back to the flashes, the first two games, the second game or third game of the season, DeAndre Swift rushes for 270-something yards, and then you go away from the run. You start to pick and choose. Teams are killing you across the middle in the numbers and on the hash mark. You don't pick any of that when you have arguably one of the best receivers in the slant, running the slant route, and A.J. Brown on your roster. Devontae Smith last night gave it his all. He left it on the field. I'm going to leave that there. Like I said, I'm not going to go into the accolades because we can all go look at the stats, and I'll tell y'all to go to CBS Sports or ESPN, whoever you want, and you can pull up the stats and do that, because I'm not doing that today. Today is not the day for that. Today is the day for us to, or for me, to bring closure to my season. That's why I said I'm wearing this hat one last time to end the season, close it out for me, and be done with it. And hopeful that some things, a lot of the dialogue that I expect will go on during the off season, because there's a hell of a lot of dialogue that needs to go on. And like I said, no one is exempt. I'm talking players all the way across the board, front office, whoever, coaches, whoever. Nobody's safe, in my opinion. Nobody's safe. to be honest with you. And I understand, we all understand it's a business. So you have people that are on contracts. So you may have to find trades and this, that, and the other. And I understand that business part fine and well. But again, I say the way that this thing played out from where it started to get bad and then the bottom finally fell out last night, no one in my book, in my opinion, is exempt from any type of discussion. And it's not going to be a lot of good discussions. There shouldn't be a lot of good discussions. Shouldn't be a lot of friendly exit interviews. Exit interviews should be business-like and respectful, if you will. Because it's a lot of shit that needs to go on. A lot of shit that needs to change with this Eagles roster. This front office, this coaching staff, whatever, whoever. And like I said, no one is exempt. But again, a lot of shit needs to be changed. And in my opinion, they should be working on the shit right now. As I'm sitting here talking to y'all, giving y'all my opinions and telling y'all how I think things need to be going on and this and that and the third, they need to be in the NovaCare Center, wherever their offices are, whatever they're doing, not doing. They need to be trying to start, again, to look at a plan or devise a game plan on where they need to go and where they need to start and how they need to, again, get this shit together. Because, again, the tools are there. The pieces are there as far as players and the roster. Like I said, the talent on the roster. That's there. You've got to fix the other side. And you got to fix it. Because if not, we all know how these professional athletes get. And you can argue that this situation with the Eagles was some of that as well. They know how to quit on you. They know how to do things to make things seem like the coaches are totally at fault. And hell, we also know that a lot of times, in a lot of instances, the coaching staff or the head coach are usually typically easier to get rid of than the players are. So we understand it. They understand it. So that's that. But on another note, I'm changing hats now. Getting rid of the Eagles hat for now. Changing hats for now. Stan, don't you say nothing. Okay? My guy, Stan Groovy Laws, don't you say one word. I know who y'all are. But I do have to bring my Sixers into the fold now because I am now in basketball season. Again, there's no more football for me really to watch. Well, I don't have any interest really, any big interest. It's always with the lineup, and I'll give you the lineup in a little bit for the divisional rounds. But the way it's looking now, you got some new teams in positions that they haven't been in, so that's pretty much intriguing to me. As far as watching it to see what plays out, see if we can get two new teams, two unfamiliar teams to reach the Super Bowl and have a chance to win a Super Bowl. So, it'll be interesting to see that. But I have to switch seasons over and I get into the basketball season. And some of you that may not understand Coach Stan Groovy Laws, he knows why I told him not to say a word. We understand that. We have some conversations, we talk a little bit basketball wise, but it's something that we know, and it's lovingly. No, it's not. It's nothing bad. It's just lovingly that I'm telling him right now. Let me have my moment. All in all, though, I like what the Sixers have been doing. I was a little disappointed with that little stretch, that 3-game losing streak. They got back on track yesterday. And the return of the big fella. I'm glad he returned in that game and got a game under his belt because they go again today or this evening against the Nuggets, which is going to be a battle for him as well. But I'm looking at the Philadelphia 76ers right now, and some of the things that I mentioned way back when we found out that Nick Nurse was going to be hired or was hired as the new coach, and a lot of the things I said to you about certain players that I felt like resembled some situations that arose in Toronto. that I felt like he could help with some of those players. Then we had the James Harden situation, of course, and then we got the trade finally. And the players that we got back have been contributing. Of course, a lot of people will say that we never expected what we're getting from Nico, out of Nico, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Kelly Oubre, we all basically knew what Kelly Oubre was from playing against Kelly Oubre. It's a big help for us. We got Marcus Morris Sr., the Philly native, the North Philly native, who is just solid. That typical Philadelphia, from North Philly. Bring my lunch pail and I'm going to go to work. Pat Bev, the energy, the veteran. So we still have to piece some things together. And we talked about the trades have been talked about, a lot of different stuff. I talked about probably 3 or 4 or 5 trades the last time I talked to you live on the air. But my wish list, or things that I feel like we need right now, a backup center, a legit backup center, and a backup scoring point guard. And my reason being this, I'll start with the backup center. Again, Paul Reed, I like his energy sometimes. And then there are also some times where his energy overtakes his ability, if you will. But when you look at basketball and you look at even now with this, what they're calling or have been calling positionless basketball, I say to people, yeah, he has the right nickname, B-Ball Paul, because I feel like he's just a basketball player. And this is no disrespect. But when you look at him as far as him in the NBA and what he brings to the table, he's not a backup 5. He's not big enough. The 4 spot, still a little bit not big enough. Not enough moves on the block. The 3, of course, he does not shoot the ball well enough, doesn't handle the ball well enough to be there. So basically, he is a basketball player. But right now, currently, he is our backup center. Mo Bamba, I don't understand what's going on with him. Sometimes he looks confused on the court. Sometimes he looks like he doesn't know what he's supposed to do. And then he'll give you a flash or two where he's like, oh, okay, he can do a little something. But it's inconsistent. I think it's going to take a minute. I don't understand, but I've noticed that he's been hurt and DeAnthony Melton's been out too, most recently. But you have to revel in the big brother and the little brother. You definitely revel in what Joel Embiid has been doing, even with him missing some games now, and he came right back, and he's right back at form. But I think more importantly, you see the growth and the super maturation of one Tyrese Maxey. I think, all in all, now that we look at where they are in this season and how he's been playing, I think it was kind of a blessing that the James Harden trade was made. Because now he's a lot more free. And for that matter, the coaching staff, the coaching situation, and again, I say there's no disrespect to Doc, but Doc had gotten to the point, Doc was already one of those old school coaches, and then they gotten to the point where Doc was not going to waver from his ways to fit with this younger core. Okay, not so much that Joel is a younger core, but you got Tyrese Maxey, and then you bring these other guys in that have this energy that didn't have defined roles. Now you have guys with Nick Nurse where he listens to the players and the players tell him where they feel comfortable, and he tries to put that into the flow of the game and into the offense and things of that nature and in the schemes, which is what I think a coach is supposed to do anyway. I may come in with a scheme, but if I have certain players that initially I may say, well, don't really fit with what I do, now I have to figure out how I fit that scheme of what they do and their skill set into my scheme. I can adjust my scheme. But that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to find a way to get them in where they fit in. That's what I'm supposed to do as a coach. Doc do not really want to do that too much with the younger guys, so kind of hindered some of them, and it is what it is, and it was what it was. So again, folks, I took off the Eagles hat. Again, it's over for me. Like I said, I closed it out, took the hat off. I'm transitioned into the NBA season. I got on my Sixers hat right now, as you can see. And we're going to see what happens. You know, again, Sixers today versus the Nuggets. I'm going to give you some schedules for today. One last note before I close out, and I'm doing this before I should have done it before I changed hats. But I have to give shout outs and kudos to one Jason Kelsey, who apparently has told his teammates that he is retiring. Over the career that spanned 13 seasons, 1 Super Bowl win, 2 or 3, I think 3 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl win, 7 Pro Bowls, 6 first-team All-Pros, his own charity, his own documentary, a top sports podcast with his brother, and he's also raised millions for the autism community. So great there, Philly legend, as I always say. And I think he'll walk away proud and always be remembered as a legend in Philadelphia. So today, in the NBA, you got Sixers home against the Nuggets, the Kings and the Suns, and the Thunder and the Clippers. In the NHL, you got the Avalanche and the Senators, the Kraken and the Rangers, the Ducks and the Capitals, the Kings and the Stars, the Islanders and the Jets, the Sharks and the Blackhawks, the Coyotes and the Flames, and the Leafs, Maple Leafs, and the Oilers. NFL divisional rounds are set in the AFC over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday game, 4:30, Texans at the Ravens. And AFC game Sunday, 6:30, Chiefs at Bills. On the NFC side, again, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, the late game, 8:15, Packers at 49ers. And Sunday, 3 p.m., Bucks at Lions. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. Be careful outside. The snow is not real deep. It's about 3 inches maybe. But it's supposed to rain a little bit. It's still a wintry mix going on. So you have to get out, do what you need to do. Take your time. Be careful. Be safe. And remember, be great on purpose. I'll be back with y'all on Monday in studio to give y'all more great sports content. And I'm sure by then I'll have some stuff, some Eagles talk, of course, because we know how the conversation and the dialogues are going to be all week long. So I'm sure I'll have some stuff to bring to the table next week. And if not, I'll always have some great content. Also, folks, you know where to get me at Sports Rap CEO on Instagram, Twitter, or X. More so Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Facebook, Sports Rap Podcast LLC is the group page there. You can also get YouTube. Sports Rap TV is the page there. Remember, get over there. Check out the videos that you like. Subscribe to that channel. Hit that thumbs up again on the videos that you like, and then hit that bell so you'll be alerted when new content is up. Also, the webpage, sportsrapradio.com. You can get over there and check out everything, all the news and updates about Sports Rap and Sports Rap Podcast. Also, check out at Making It Yours, Instagram, TikTok, at MAKING_IT_YOURS_ for your custom t-shirts, custom tumblers. Look at the designs that are there. If not, you can send pictures in and we can do almost anything that you send us. Folks, it's been great talking to y'all today. Like I said, I'll be with y'all next Monday, and have a great day. Peace.